Hello! Today I would like to show you something more about motion tracking and VFX. I recorded that I'm swinging with my pencil. I've made a marker, as you can see it, and I want to make something like that so that we can add some 3D model to it, attach it, and composite it all together to get some nice results. Maybe this marker is not great because, as you can see, it gets blurred a little bit, but let's see what can we make. I added a sphere to it, added some bloom effect and light. Actually, it's not the light, it's emission material to it, but we can follow the path created with motion tracking. So let's open a new Blender instance and let's switch to the VFX and then motion tracking workspace. Here we need to open our footage. I've got it on the desktop. Here it is. As you can see, we've got 451 frames, so we can adopt it so our timeline is adequate. So I will click on set scene frames to make it the same. I can do it manually, of course, but what for? We've got a button for it. Why not to use it? And what else? I will click on prefetch to load the footage into the program so it runs quicker. We want to mark and follow this marker, the red one. And we can just click on add marker, or we can delete it and we can create a new marker with Ctrl and left click. Okay, so now we can zoom in a little bit, we can place it wherever we want. Sometimes it's good to place it on the edge, so it's better recognizable, but this time I will move it to the center and I will show you something, because probably we will get lost in the middle, so I will show you how to fix it, because this marker is not really great. It's rounded, it's like a circle, and just for simple tracking it's okay, but good marker should be set as I'm showing you now. We will draw like 3 circles and they should be really distinct from the background, so they should have some contrasting colors, and they should be set in this position, because when we will rotate it, the computer program will quickly catch up on this. It will be clearly visible that we are rotating, because when we rotate one single circle, the program has no way of telling it. As the same is with you. If you rotate the circle, there is no way of telling if it's rotated or not. Okay, so we need to start tracking it, and as you can see, I moved forward a little bit and our view is blurred completely. We had a circle before, the red circle, and now look, we've got something really blurred, look like some rectangle or something different, and Blender has no way of tracking it because it changed drastically. That's why it's a really important thing to shoot your video really sharp. You should use a really high shutter speed, like 1/500th of the second or something. I recorded it with my camera, a mobile phone, which is really bad. That's why the quality of this footage is really bad as well. But that's a good thing, because you will see how to fix it. And now we will choose the motion model to location, rotation and scale. Most of the time we will use this option, and with the match option we will switch from keyframe to previous frame. It's not mandatory, but it helps, and clicking on normalize would provide probably better result. So most of the time I usually change those 3 options: location, rotation and scale, previous frame and normalize. Okay, so now we can track it. You can see we've got buttons here below, or we can go to track motion and choose forwards, and the shortcut for it is Ctrl T, so we can use shortcuts later on. And I clicked on it, and as you can see, we were able to go to the frame 76, actually 75, and we got lost at frame 76. And why is that? I hope you already know it. It's because our tracking point has changed. It was a circle, red circle, and now look, it became something like, I don't know, kicked rectangle. So it's definitely different. That's why we should avoid blurred markers, because program can't recognize it. But we will fix it manually, but we will fix it. So just click on it and use G to grab and move, and we will set it in new place. Maybe I will increase the size of it a little bit. It's not necessary, but let's do it. And now we can keep doing this and keep tracking. So press Ctrl T again. We were able to do 20 frames more, but now we have to do it again. So as you can see, we have to go frame forward and keep tracking again. So here we are. Let's use G to slide it to the right position and press Ctrl T to go further. Okay, in this frame we finished tracking, because as you can see it's being tracked because we've got these lines, so we have to go one frame further, move it, so G to move it and Ctrl T to keep tracking. And we will do it all over again so that we can go to the end of the clip actually. And as you can see here, it's getting a little bit worse than before because it's hard to see it anyway. This is really blurred. It lost the color. Okay, a few more times and we should be ready for next step. As you can see here, is really bad. So we will do it manually. Just G, Ctrl T to go further. Do it again, just move it a little bit and Ctrl T. It looks like we finished our tracking, which is really great. And our curve looks like that, which is really good for this purpose. Of course, if we wanted to track the camera, that would be a little bit more complex, but for now we don't have to worry about this. So now we need to add some empty to our workspace. So just go to geometry and link empty to track so that we can add some 3D models to it and keep this curve, this path for this model. So we are done in the motion tracking workspace really, so we can switch to layout. And here I will get rid of the cube. As you can see, when we scrub through the timeline, we can see our empty moving along this curve that we just tracked. So I would like to see my footage in the camera. So I will go to the camera tab, add image, movie clip and choose that footage. Okay, this is great, but we have to add this sphere. So Shift A, UV sphere. I will just make it a little bit smaller, apply the scale, and now we have to attach it to our empty. And of course we can do it by parenting it. So I can click on the empty, cursor to select it, then selection to cursor. Of course, Shift S is the shortcut for this menu, but actually I want to make it differently. So I will Ctrl Z it and I will use constraints. So click on the sphere, go to the constraint tab and choose copy location. Now we can just choose the target, which is track, and as you can see, our UV sphere will follow this empty. Now we will add some material. I will choose emission. I will change the color maybe to some bluish and increase the strength to, let's say, 100. I will choose blend mode to alpha blend. I'll go to the render properties tab. I will add bloom, and to make it all nice and combine it later in the compositing, I will add transparent. It's getting better and better, but when I press F12 now, you can see that we only get what we have on our scene. Our video is not being rendered. so we have to composite it in compositing. Use nodes, move composite to the right, and we have to add our video node. So Shift A and type movie clip. We have to open our footage. Now we have to combine it, so we will use alpha over. Just put it there, and I usually have my render layers on the bottom and movie clip on the top, and this is pretty much done. Now I would like to see it in the compositing, so we will add the viewer node so we can connect it and see how it goes. And this is great. There is some problem with the Blender, because when we move on our timeline, you can see that our pencil, which is our movie footage, is playing alright, but our 3D model is not updating. We have to press the render button to update it, and this is some problem. I already told it to Blender, and I think this is a bug and they are going to deal with it, so at some point it should work, but at the moment it doesn't. But anyway, just keep that in mind, that auto refresh option doesn't help really. Okay, this is pretty much done, but I think I would like to add some extra node to it to make it more blurred. So Shift A, choose filter and blur. Now we will increase X and Y value to about 20. It's looking better, but maybe I will increase it to 30. And I think I like it the way it is. Let's render it, and it looks really nice. I think we are done with compositing. We can go back to the layout and set for animation. I will create a new folder on my desktop. I'll call it, let's say, anim. Let's enter it, accept, and I don't think I want to render the whole animation. I will just show you how to do it. So I will set 60 frames, and now we can go to the render animation and wait till it renders. Okay, we've got all render out, so I don't want to mess with this scene, so I will open a new instance of Blender to show you how it looks like. So now we can just go to the new workspace. So I will choose video editing and video editing, and here we can add an image sequence. Here I will navigate to my folder, I will select all with A and add image strip. And now if you press space, you can see that our animation is working perfect. Okay, this is a really short animation, but I hope you learned how to track it, how to make it work. And this was a really simple example, but I think this is a good start for motion tracking, and of course we will expand on it. Okay, so that would be it, and I see you in the next one. Take care.